Hi guys.
Hi guys.
Let's have a look at the title of this film, as I've called it, so Nadia knows what the hell you're all going to say.
Love you, Keeks. You all right, darling? Do you need anything? What are you looking for? Yes, you are.
That's we're live.
Just looking for something.
Angry, confused, more scared than before. Economics above mental welfare. That's what's happened today. That's what's happened. There are countless young adults who are having to go out to work or think they have to go out to work, and it's been given more priority and more significance than us being able to reconnect with any of our loved ones. It's not even about the fact that they should have said, if we can't get closer than 2 meters, that's fine. But there should have been some reference to it. There should have been some reference to the huge emotional sacrifice everyone is going through, rather than just giving us an economic solution.
But I'm sorry, it's that boarding school stiff upper lip. There's no mind for the human condition here, because, like you say, if you can go to work with a 2 meter distance, why can't you sit in your garden with your mum or with your grandparents at a 2 meter distance?
Exactly. Lily Clayton, pissed off. Adam Smith, the biggest death toll in Europe, but a success.
Success.
Nicola Tomlin, we should have a petition. Francois Kamanzuli, he cares more about his effing Boris bikes than anything else. I tell you something else he didn't show, which I was really surprised. There was none of the humility of a man who'd been at death's door. I didn't feel the hand of that in there at all. I was hunting for the human. I was hunting for the
Oh no, I think he was
emotional.
trying to be human. No, I don't agree with that. But I think he struggles with that. I think he really struggles with that. And I think it's the same over and over again with all this. These people do not live in the real world. They haven't had a real job. As somebody said on Instagram, they don't understand a working person's life. To say, walk, take your bike, half your kids will be at school, half your kids won't be at school, get your work. He's just got no understanding how complicated that is.
Well, no, I totally, entirely disagree with you. I entirely and totally disagree. I don't think he showed any humanity. He didn't. He didn't.
I think he tried.
Didn't.
No, I said he tried.
Yeah, he might have tried, but he
failed. Yeah.
Keris Entwistle, fucking ridiculous. I'm sorry. Kids can go back to school and see teachers, but they can't see family.
Exactly.
Lunacy.
Exactly.
Lunacy.
You're desperate to see your nieces and nephews, aren't you? I'm so confused. This is a deadly virus. What are they playing? Gala. Oh, it's going so fast. My boss. Too fast. They've not given university students any recognition. I think basically this is the problem. I think there's going to be so many people that don't feel they were given recognition. They have whipped up this speech all week by leaking this and leaking that to the papers. And then it comes to it. They have really been hoisted by their own petard because they built this up. And he said nothing really new.
Yeah, but hang on, they built it up.
And he's talked again about getting testing sorted. And we really are sick to the back teeth of that, because he just keeps talking about it, and then immediately they talk about it, they then make an excuse after as to why they haven't managed to get testing sorted. And there is no way out of this puzzle without proper testing, tracing, isolating. I didn't hear a single thing about that. So what are we going to do with people that need to isolate, that live in a house that can't isolate? How are we ever going to shut this virus down? He's going to sanction that we start talking about quarantining people when they come in. That should have happened fucking weeks ago.
It should have happened weeks ago. Amy Draper, I think it's stupid they're planning to allow schools, restaurants opening before they allow families to reconnect. They're not even, look, the proof is in the pudding when it comes to schooling. They're not even sending the kids back to school that would be able to do what's required in the school environment, or that's more important for the school kids. They're doing what's economically the most viable. They have been transparent. And look, here's the thing. We all recognise the economy has to be rebuilt, but they have been so transparent in lurching towards only economic considerations in this statement. That's the only reason schools are being open, so they can free people up to go back to work. Oh, it's just ridiculous. Germany risking again after easing lockdown, up over 1 again. God, that easy. They've hardly, they're in control of it as well.
Well, she allowed groups of 50. I thought that was quite a lot. Were allowed to gather of 50 people.
So
That's
a lot of people are saying, so I can drive 83 miles. Am I allowed to drive 83 miles to see my to see relatives?
It was so unclear. It was, and then tomorrow we'll have another fucking briefing where they'll come out and they'll try and clarify it, and they won't clarify it. They'll be woolly around it again. People want more than anything a roadmap as to when they are going to see their family, their partners, their boyfriends, their girlfriends.
That's not to say that what he's got to do is a really difficult thing. There
It
does
really
need to
is.
be a roadmap for the economy. But
Absolutely, because the economy is vital for all of our
But it was
survival.
critical today. For example, my eldest Izzy was sitting there waiting for some reference, as was Maddie, for some reference to how they can continue their personal relationships. For young adults, remove their personal relationships from them. I mean, it's the same for olders, but we're older, we're wiser, we've got more stuff to kind of stimulate us, or we've experienced more of how to deal with sort of, not boredom, but do you know what I mean? These limitations, these privations. But youngsters, you take away their life source, which is friendship, new love, beginning their careers, you remove what feels like their lives. This single-handedly tonight, the lack of clarity, confusion, the lack of inclusion of anything to do with emotional welfare or connecting with family will add and compound whatever mental health conditions and issues there are already because of this crisis. It was beyond, where was Whitty? Where was Whitty?
I just don't understand how people vote for these people that know nothing about what it's like. We know that the Tories don't know this stuff. We know it.
What do you mean?
Well, I just think a socialist government would be dealing better with this, thinking more about people's hearts. Unfortunately, Jeremy Corbyn was a total waste of space, so we couldn't have him. But we voted Boris in, knowing this about him. I didn't feel like there was any care for the individual groups of people and what they're going through. No mention. Like, think of all the diverse group of people that are on here with us. You know, single parents, parents dealing with having to manage children with special needs, people with depression, people with anxiety, people who've got one person at home that has underlying conditions, multiple, and they've still got to go to work, and then they've got to take their kid, and then they're worried about getting a fine because if they don't take their kid to the primary school, but then the primary school could come back and give the virus to the parent that's in the house with them. All of these complex relationships to the virus were not addressed in any way whatsoever.
Well, Abby Alston disagrees. Abby thinks it was a well-balanced speech, health before economy, family connections and education. As a politics student, I think Boris is doing a great job. I didn't feel that he placed health before economics.
I don't think he thought about anything about family either.
I don't think he has placed health.
I mean,
only look at the
anything about
testing, the
family.
PPE, the lack of funding for the NHS.
How can we keep on hearing the same thing that you have to get testing sorted? When is that actually going to happen? Because every week they say the same thing.
Do you know
we have no tracing. They're putting all their money on this flaming app. 3 weeks ago, they said that they were going to recruit 16,000 people. Why don't we, as somebody said today, have the humility to look at the countries that have made this work and do the same as they have? We have models. We have South Korea. We have these other countries that have done what is needed. And all of it is based in testing and tracking and tracing and then isolating. There's been no provision made for, like, I was reading a whole thing about what South Korea do. They basically taken over all the holiday camps like Butlins and places like that and empty hotels. So if somebody is tested positive, they then track with an app and with people, all the people that they've come in contact with. Then they're all tested and they're put into isolation for 14 days. That is how they're managing the virus. Are we anywhere near that? I don't even want to hear,
No.
really, whether it's good politics or bad politics.
No.
It's not about politics.
No, it's not.
It's about managing this critical situation and looking to countries that are getting it right and taking something from that and repeating it. Where are we going to put people when we isolate them? Where are we going to... I haven't heard one thing about that.
Not one thing. Still no steerage or guidance on mask wearing. Still no mandatory assertion that you need. It's your choice if you wear it on public transport.
But the reason they're saying that is because they can't manage to get any masks
Precisely.
into the country.
What the fuck is wrong with us?
That's why they're saying it. That's why they're...
Elspeth Thompson, how do they know the R rate when they aren't testing enough? It's exactly what I've been asking all along. We all sit there clutching and go, oh, well, it's quite good. It's at 0.7
And I was
or 0.9.
talking to
We
my
don't know
friend
that.
today, and apparently there was an article in The Spectator, and they were questioning whether the R rate should just be taken within hospitals and care homes separately, because their R rate is going to be much faster than outside of
but
the
as Elspeth's
hospitals.
saying, we are not testing anyone outside of those environments, so we have no concept of the R rate.
No.
We don't know what the numbers that are going to come through in the next 14 days.
80% of the people in this country could already have it or be asymptomatic. We'll never know because they're not doing any testing. And they've never done any testing.
Ellie Waits, using children as guinea pigs. Claire Riley, definitely wealth before health. I mean, I think here's the thing that I think needs to happen, and I suggested this a couple of weeks ago. It would preserve party politics because it would remove it for a minute. I think if I was Boris Johnson, I would quickly, for the sake of his own leadership, to be honest, I would quickly pull together a cross-party war cabinet. I would bring members of the opposition and the regions to pull together.
I mean, I was really angry today to hear that there was no conversations with Wales, Northern Ireland or Scotland.
It's weird.
It's weird.
It's weird.
The Welsh Prime Minister said, it comes in fits and spurts. It's good when they do talk to us. But like Nicola Sturgeon said today, to find out that there was a change from stay home to stay alert at the front of the Sunday newspapers... That is not right. That is not right.
Does anyone else feel that sense that I've used the analogy of the string quartet still playing as the Titanic went down? But does anyone else think now it's becoming analogous to us steering the ship ever closer to the great big frickin' iceberg? It's like we're just going, yep, keep going.
Well, no, I do agree. I agree with everything he said about easing out, pulling back, looking at the R rate. But for me, unless we've got the testing, what I wanted to hear today more than anything else, I wanted to hear we are now spreading out to the community and we're testing all of you fuckers. That's what I wanted to hear. And then I wanted to hear we've taken over Butlins, we've taken over the hotel. We're going to have places where we can isolate people because all the rest of it is just pissing in the wind. You know, apparently some of the testing stations are quiet because the key workers who wanted to be tested have been tested. So they're not testing anyone else. I mean...
Claire Riley, who was trying to assert his authority due to Sturgeon's criticism. Well, I mean, I think Nicola Sturgeon has proved herself a more competent...
But it's not just Nicola Sturgeon.
No.
I don't know the Welsh Prime Minister's name or the Northern Ireland woman. I can never remember her name. But they haven't spoken to them either. You don't. I mean, this is the United Kingdom. Surely these conversations, and again, it just shows me that this just disregard that they have.
Yeah. So Marky, and this is truly old TV. He was talking about you must go back to work now if you don't have a job. If you don't have a job that can work from home. Now, just that simple statement is so complicated for so many people.
Then he mentioned only two professions.
We only mentioned two professions. Most of those professions, I have to hasten to add, having been into central London, are already there. Construction workers are all over London. But here's the thing. So what if you have a job that you can't do at home and have to go into, but your child is still currently not at school? What happens there? You haven't got childcare. There's no school. What do you, sorry? What do you do if your employer still hasn't set up safe social distancing? This is the most crucial one. Who is the judge in this very new, with these very new guidelines that he said have been put in place, which we still don't even know everything about the virus? Who is the judge of what is a safe working environment? Are we
And
going to
how
hand
the-
that over to
and
our
the poor
employers?
But the poor employers,
No,
how are they going
I
to suddenly
agree.
do that?
I agree. It's a huge responsibility to employers. So I wouldn't be at all surprised if the vast majority of employers, like the teaching unions, are insisting that they will
Yeah.
not support a return because they can't guarantee safety. And if they can't guarantee safety, there'll be lawsuits against people saying that they've worked in unsafe conditions. It's a total. But if I was thinking about it, if I was a construction worker, or if I was in manufacturing, I'd be thinking I have to go to work tomorrow. What are loads of people going to hit the roads going to factories tomorrow to work?
I think saw someone going up already saying, I lost them, saying that their employer immediately phoned them and told them they had to come into work
Did
tomorrow.
they?
I saw something like that. I couldn't catch it. It was going too fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you were that person and you sent that, can you send it again?
What's happened if there is a second wave? I hate
Well,
to
if there's a second wave, I mean, this is the problem.
Well-
This is why we need the testing and we need isolation accommodation. Because if you live in a house where you can't isolate, I mean, in South Korea, you absolutely have to isolate. You go into these cabins and you're in there for 14 days on your own. And food is given to you through a shutter. I mean, it's a fascinating article about how they've actually got a hold of the virus. And I mean, and still they're very careful about letting people out and just, I mean, again, easing. What he said about that, I totally get. You know,
Yeah.
we'll try this and then we'll pull back and then we'll try this and we'll pull back. I get all of that. But I don't think he paid enough reference to individual groups and to the human relationships.
Well, he's also, I mean, I'm not saying I've got any particular attachment to it right now, but there are thousands of jobs and there are thousands of people's money tied in with these air firms. The aviation industry is going to go down. Now, if quarantine is a requirement, as it seems to be in many countries, I think Germany's enacting it, you know, he didn't say when. No. He didn't say how.
Well, it's in the next couple of days.
I mean, but a number of people are saying, well, he does just come out, give you the headlines, and then over the next couple of days, all his cronies come out, and Matt Hancock will be sitting there telling everyone
That's
to
what I
watch
said.
their
We're gonna have to.
We're gonna have to sift through it all.
Dilara D, I'm from Turkey and I normally look up to the UK when it comes to protecting the public, but watching you guys from afar is just
God, I
unbelievable. Having seen the measures taken by the Turkish government and others.
There you go. We thought we were above it all. As it was rampaging through Italy, we thought we were above it all.
Francesca Bastos, I'm going back to teach tomorrow. 15 hours a week on trains and public transport.
Oh, Francisco.
Oh, God, that's so hard.
Oh, God.
Mia Wood, I work in the travel industry.
Mia Wood. I mean, yeah. I mean,
So hard.
I mean, potentially there could be an uplift for the staycation holidays, you know, in the UK, but British exceptionalism, who said that? Claire Riley. Absolutely. I think someone said right at the beginning of this crisis, I think I put it on my Insta stories on my Mark_Adderley account. I think I said something like, Boris is treating this like a game of cricket. It had as much significance. I saw the Piers Morgan, I think Ashley Gardner, you sent me the Piers Morgan is fuming. None of the government will go on GMB tomorrow, but Piers Morgan did a very funny tweet, actually, just characterising the speech.
Apparently, oh God, what's that comedian? Matt Lucas has done a really funny go to work, don't go to work, no go to work, no stay to work, no don't go to work on Twitter. Apparently,
yeah,
20-second thing, very funny.
That's it, very funny, yeah. I want to know when they will end the furlough scheme. Well, I think the furlough scheme is going to be stepped down gradually over time.
But of course you do.
Yeah.
I mean, of course you do. How scary. I mean, my sister's in that situation, Dina. She doesn't know what's happening from one day to the next.
Hal Van Kutrick, why are we making a point of making any children go back this year? Schools should set schoolwork online.
Exactly.
This is a once in a lifetime. We're not talking about this forever. We're talking about it for 4 to 6 weeks.
Yeah.
More. And then it's the summer bloody holidays anyway.
Yeah.
It seems it will be such a Pyrrhic victory if you send them all out, get a second wave. For what? To say we sent them back to school? Utter nonsense.
Hang on, where's that Amber? Somebody there saying she works in a shop. Is it Amber? Amber Lou, I work in a shop, still no screens. They allow sometimes 4 to 5 workers behind a tiny counter that's about 2 to 3 metres long, no more than a metre wide, fuming. I don't feel safe. My employer doesn't care. Tracy Lindsay, my aunt is the head of a private school in Essex, has said no way at all of a return
before the summer.
for
I don't
any
think-
pupil.
Are all private schools saying that?
No.
No, they're not.
No. Mama Noodle feel that we're heading for a second peak and it'll be worse than the first one due to the government
I entirely
not having a
agree.
clue.
I entirely agree. And I hate to say it, I think we're looking at another tracker from 10 days from now to 14 days from now. Oh, God. Children seem to be developing, neuro S, we need to keep them safe too. Oh, I don't know, is that something? Is that...
People have been tested in Peterborough, have been waiting 2 weeks for results. They've sent them to bloody
Oh, they're
USA
part of the lot, yeah,
because
the
they
batch.
can't
50,000
cope.
50,000 have been sent to the USA, haven't they?
Oh, I see. To
They
work
can't
out
process them. They can't get the results. That's what I'm saying. There was an operational error. They couldn't fucking get the results. So, okay, you've done 100,000? Not really. You've done less than 50,000 less than you've said. I think, Sharon, you keep asking. I think Boris was at Chequers. I only know that because I think number 10 doesn't have that depth of focus for a shot.
I'm scared to go back to work. I'm a learning support assistant working with special needs children. They're more at risk due to their needs. Drew, it's hard. Kiki Green. Kraskinuskis.
Oh, new episode of John Krasinski's Some Good News tomorrow.
Oh,
That's
God, we're
the
watching
Emily
that.
Blunt's
Yeah,
husband.
thank you for that,
Yeah.
Kiki. Francesca Bastos, I'm in Switzerland though, but they're too optimistic with the numbers here and risking too much. All kids till the 9th class are going back.
Helen H, go out, but not out.
Yeah.
That's really
Yeah.
funny. That's so
Well,
true.
it's like even Nicola
Go out,
Sturgeon said,
but not out,
you can
out.
go out to exercise all day if you want.
Yeah, you must go out, but you mustn't go out. Do use public transport, but don't.
But you know what my
Bicycle
biggest
if you
worry
can.
is? My biggest worry with this is that people are cross and people do think it's ridiculous. And I worry then they'll just go, well, I'm just going to make up my own mind.
But then what? Then what's going to happen with that?
I know, that's why I'm worried.
What's going to happen with that? Oh my God! It's like living in an. It's like what? It's like being in that moment in a horror film where everyone's screaming, "Don't go into the woods," and we're all just going, "Hey, hey, hey." Got Matt Hancock and Dominic Raab going, "Hey, this way, this way."
I live on my own, says Victoria Evans, and today's announcement was just confirmation that I'll have to wait months to be able to hug or touch another person again. I crave human interaction. Well, of course you do. Of course you do. It's just so hard. Tracy Stokes, school's not opening in June in Wales. Yeah, and the Welsh, how do I refer to the Welsh? Is it Prime Minister? Yeah.
Oh, I
The
don't
Welsh
know.
Prime Minister.
No, it's
said,
the Welsh. No, it's something else.
It said no schools, well, he's got schools open for obviously key workers and stuff, but children won't be going back to school before September. He's made that decision.
Yeah.
And what are the numbers in Wales compared to here?
Yeah. Someone else just said then that they think people are going to take as you've just said, people are going to take the rules into their own hands. Teenagers are going to have parties. There is that risk. And I got this horrible feeling, I was saying it in our previous live, that I think the government know that. I've got this terrible, horrible feeling that they can't be as stupid as they're coming across. They must know that the ambiguities and ambivalence they're leaving at the edges of everything they're saying are precisely for them to be able to create. So. I do. I think they're looking for...
I just think they just don't know how to communicate with people. I think it's a terrible lack of communication skills. I love this. Sarah, should we go to sleep? Stay alert, muddled. I'm a primary teacher, terrified. Oh, sweetie, and thinking perhaps I should start making my will.
Oh, dear. I think Elspeth Thompson's just said again, herd immunity by the back door. That's what I think. That's what I think they're doing. Herd immunity by the back door.
No, I don't know about that.
I do.
I don't know. I just think they don't. I think they're just from a different world, and I don't think they know how to communicate. I just think it's a completely different world they've grown up in. They're just so far removed from what real life is like.
Quasi-herd immunity. Rosie Axon, yeah. I think
Rosie Axon, I agree with Mark. Sharon P. My 15-year-old son has autism. Oh, darling, it must be so hard. Can't imagine. Cannot imagine. These measures are relying too much on the intelligence and conscience of the British public, if I'm honest, says Dilara D. Holly, I completely agree about the herd immunity, Mark. Do you, Holly? Holly's our immunologist.
That's Elspeth Thompson who's saying it, but I mean,
you think they're just like, so do you think they're hoping, there'll be enough stupid people that will go out, party, do all of that, and then they'll get the herd immunity.
I just think they...
But does it work like that? We don't even know if we can get herd immunity with this virus.
I genuinely think there's something else at work here. There's something else.
Beth thinks the messaging is vague on purpose too.
I do. I genuinely think it's vague on purpose. I think look, have you heard a politician answer a straight question? Have you seen the skill?
No, but they never have.
No, because they're trained not to.
Yeah.
They're trained to speak like this. This language that they're using, the language of this speech of nothing specific but everything sort of kind of about stuff, is precisely so they can cover their own bases.
Nadia and Mark, what do you want from the government? What do you suggest? Well, what I want from the government, absolutely, I have no doubt about this. I wish I could ask this question is, I want to know times and dates when they are going to get the testing, isolating and tracing of people. That's all I want to know. And I want to know why I can socially distance by 2 meters at work. Many of us can, but we can't see our parents and grandparents at 2 meters distance. Yeah. Those are the things that I think the majority of people want to know. There's no, apart from all the other things, how they're going to pay for their home, blah, 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 when they go. But regarding the puzzle of coronavirus, just dealing with the virus, that's the thing that we need to know right at the top. When is that happening? Because until that happens, forget easing lockdown, forget anything. Yeah. Nothing will we will never get even a new normal. I'm not even talking about going back to the old. We won't get a new normal until we know that. Yeah, entirely agree. All the countries that are dealing with it, that's what they've got sorted. Yeah. And we have been told for 7 weeks, we're going to get up to 100,000. We did get to 100,000, but then we came back to 70,000. But that testing isn't even enough. No. It's about tracing all the people that have tested positive. We're nowhere near doing that, which means we're nowhere near getting a new normal.
So, Andrea Smith, we want transparency.
Transparency on the testing.
We want an absolute breakdown of how and when it's going to work. Yeah. And if it's not going to work soon enough, why? And if it can't work soon enough for reasons, tell us. And then when you tell us, you give us a stage-by-stage breakdown of how you can introduce. You should say to...
Give us hope.
What you should have said today.
Even if he says to us, listen, guys, I'm going to be straight. We're not going to get this testing and tracing thing sorted until September. I would respect him for that. But what we're told is every single week on that podium, the testing's coming. But they're not even talking about the proper tracing, Mark.
No,
they're just talking about the app that they're testing on the Isle of Wight last week. No. Come on, we've been months into this now.
So my eldest daughter's been told she's got to go out to work and she doesn't feel safe and she hasn't been told whether the social distancing requirements that her boss is going to put in place are sufficient. They might be sufficient for her boss, but prior to that, even then she wasn't happy with what her bosses thought was sufficient. So maybe they won't be sufficient again now. So, people are being put in these invidious positions of having to make these decisions for themselves. What they could have done was actively said, everyone work from home. And as I said earlier, enforcing manufacturers and other work environments, slowly, sector by sector, enforcing rules and regulations to make workplaces a guaranteed place of safety and offer the population something, even if it's an acknowledgement of the sacrifices they're all making in terms of their relationships with loved ones and their own mental health. Not a reference to it is not right. Not a reference.
Holly, I think they never thought as many people observe the rules, and they know the people who will go out will be people who don't have health problems largely. So low-level subtle immunity development. Well, you know what?
Tell us that.
That sounds like a plan.
Why don't they tell us that?
That sounds like a plan. And younger people would want to go out and take the risk, wouldn't they?
Yeah, I mean, I thought they were floating this thought that 18 to 30-somethings, the least endangered, who might potentially not live with their parents, though most do live with their parents because the fucking system doesn't allow anyone to fucking live properly.
Stop
swearing. God, it makes me so crossed. We're all bemoaning a bloody system that doesn't even work fairly.
RM Jams, who are you most frustrated with from the government? It's really the whole thing. Whoever is in charge of the testing, the tracing and the isolating, I am most frustrated with. Because to me, of course, furlough and payment and all of course, that's also number one because people have to survive. But the way out is the testing.
You're damn right. It can only be. Look at South Korea. Test, trace, contact trace. I mean, it's all that can work. And
All
there was
that
this
can
guy,
work.
there was this,
And China.
but there was this news item about a guy, where was he? Somewhere in Bristol, who was setting up little micro units, doing it on paper,
Oh, he's amazing.
phoning people up. And he said if every little area had
Did
3 or 4
that.
people, and I said, Nadia was shocked. I said, I'd do that immediately.
Yeah, you did.
I said I would do that
You
immediately.
did,
The
'cause
detective work.
the government stopped it, so he
Yeah.
picked it up, didn't he? And
Yeah.
started doing it. It was such a
I feel like
heartwarming story about just a community taking that up. Because I mean, even the government do admit that the app alone is not going to sort anything. They've had real problems with apps in other countries. The take up isn't great, and then you've got all sorts of issues with Bluetooth and what's it when your thing is.
Wi-Fi.
Privacy. No, your privacy.
Data.
What's the data protection?
Data protection.
You know, it's not the answer. All of these things, from what I gather, from what I've read and what I've listened to, is that all these things have to work in conjunction. The app, the tracing, the testing, the isolating, the lockdown, social distancing, back and forth. It's all and the World Health Organization said this. Do you remember when Italy was screaming into their cameras going, please
listen
don't
to us,
do
world.
the same as us,
Please
UK.
listen to us,
Don't
world."
fall the
Yeah.
same. And the WHO was saying, WHO was saying, you need to do all of these things together to be able to stop this. That's what they said. I'll never forget it. That was how many months ago?
Oh, 3, 2.
And still,
Ages.
he sat there today and he went, well, and of course, we've got to get the testing sorted out, but it's very difficult. It's a difficult problem. And we've got to get the PPE sorted out. What? How many factories are there in this country that are quiet at the moment that could be producing that PPE?
I don't trust the WHO, though. I don't trust them.
No, but that advice
no,
about
I agree.
is the same advice that South Korea, that New Zealand,
No, I agree.
that China would give us
Yeah.
in the way to control the virus.
Yeah. Oh, it's a joke. It's a joke.
The thing if you ask me, what am I most upset about with the speech? The stuff where he was talking about social distancing, putting back and forth, obviously that's what they have to do. But my 2 things are the lack of mention on testing, the clarity on testing, and the clarity on when any kind of roadmap as to when people might be able to visit relatives with a 2-metre social distance. Because if we can start going back to work with a 2-metre social distance, why can't we do that?
Does seem strange, doesn't it, that you could go
Why
to
can't
work and run the risk of being close to other work colleagues, but you can't. And that's why I feel they've prioritised economics above emotion.
But I do think economics have to run parallel.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
They
It's
do,
not about
because we
one
don't
or
have
the
a
other.
world.
It's one
if we
and
don't
the
have-
other.
It's one and
It's
the
one
other.
and the other. But you can't say to an entire generation of people, "Oh yeah, no, you can do it. You can get," because let's not beat around the bush. A vast majority of people, an awful lot of people, don't enjoy their jobs. So you're asking people to do a job that is really about earning enough money to potentially have a bit of fun at the edges of their lives. But the fun
God.
bits can't be had.
Faith Goodman, is that true? You can only be tested in Hertfordshire on a Sunday, and it only works up to 3 days after starting the symptoms. So what happens if your symptoms start on Monday?
Oh, flipping it. This is Monty Python-esque. This is the
Steph,
Ministry
I
of
really
Silly
agree.
Walks.
They need
I'm
to
gonna do
set out a
silly
clear
walks.
workplace plan of health and safety and social distancing. Until then, no employer should expect employees back to work. Furlough is running to June anyway.
The next
He's doing
Boris
funny
speech,
walks now.
he should do this. Matt Hancock should do this in the background. That's about how serious we should take it. That's what Matt Hancock should be doing, with Michael Gove doing this. It's ridiculous. What a
RM Jams, I think Matt Hancock is in charge of testing and tracing. Not a surprise, really. There was an article today in one of the papers, and it really did sound, you know, as a source says, but it really did sound like it was a proper source, and apparently, him and Matt Hancock, apparently he's upset everybody, all the big people, Sunak and Boris. He's pissed everyone off. This was this article. I think it was in, what paper did you have yesterday? Oh, it was one of the papers today. And apparently, yes, he, with a petulant tone, when he's gets told off for things, he's like, "Oh, give me a break." Apparently, Matt Hancock says, and then he gets pissed off and walks out. And apparently, Boris makes finger gestures at him as he walks out.
Cheryl, look at this. Oh my goodness. The doctor said my mum had COVID. Day 7, she was tested and it came back negative. Was it wrong, right, or too late?
Jesus Christ. Cheryl.
So
Well, hopefully your mum's okay.
Well, no, but the ridiculous thing is, we haven't even entertained the thought that the tests just prove shit all. It's madness.
Oh, Beth T, I love this. Unlimited
No, I saw
outdoor exercise. Are we training for the fucking coronavirus Olympics? I know.
It's so true.
That was quite interesting that she said that as well in Scotland. You can exercise all day. Well, I find that quite confusing when you're supposed to stay at home as well.
Yeah.
I feel like exercising all day now.
Yeah, so do I. I'm just going to run constantly all day.
I think that's because they're really getting worried, but that must be a mental health thing. The government are patronising and think the public can't accept the truth. The Nudge Unit book I said you would like explains all this so well about the way governments thinks they should communicate, Holly. Well, that's what it feels like, Holly, doesn't it? It feels like there was like a thing, somebody said how they should communicate this to us, but they got it so wrong. I feel a bit sorry for them, actually. They probably thought they did very well. It's like he wrote this speech and nobody sort of sat and listened to it and thought, yeah, well, it's quite good there and it's quite good there. But the problem is there's a gaping great hole here where you haven't discussed this and where you haven't discussed that.
Well, apparently
Weird.
Nanny Di's here. Nanny Di, I can't see your comment, but hello. Hope you're all right. I'm going to text you after this to see what you think of Boris's speech. Yeah, I meant to say that Chelsea girl, yeah. The tests on the Isle of Wight and apparently the inclination of the British public is that only 42% are going to sign up to the app anyway.
Oh, well, listen to this. Chelsea girl, the app being tested on the Isle of Wight, no, but it hasn't been successful in Singapore. Only 20% of the population was willing.
Yeah, well, and a poll here said that only 42% of people would sign up. Like no one would sign up for the vaccine. It's another layer of madness. I'm in a glass cage of emotion. Oh, I want to get back to the monster raving loony party who promised to give everyone a free bike, because that's what we all need now, isn't it? Are you going to get a bike?
No, I'm bloody not.
They're putting £250 million into encouraging
If I
people
get
to
a
buy
bike,
bikes.
I'll be dead within a day to riding a bike. I'm not the sort of person that can ride a bike on a busy London road.
Well, obviously, yeah, tomorrow I'm running Nadia to work, and I'm going to be interested to see
This is very
what
good.
the traffic on the roads is.
Leanne Thorogood. My dad lost his brother and was in a bad way. I couldn't see and comfort him, but my partner can go out to work every day and come home to me and the kids. Go to work every day, on site, with lots of people, yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's nice to have a proper rant.
Jesus, that was a rant. I've got a sore throat.
Do you feel a bit better for it?
Xander Gibbs was suggesting we did some drunk singing. Do you think you could muster a drunk song? I don't know.
Yeah, hang on a minute. I'm
Get
just going to go get I've got some.
You're just going to go to the
I've
what?
just got some cold lemonade in the fridge. I've got to get.
Very curious.
Suddenly I just so wanted a cold fizzy drink.
Excuse me, did anyone see Nadia Sawalha off the telly? She just suddenly had urgent...
I've got some fizzy like lemonade.
Why the hell not if you're suddenly... Sorry, she just suddenly went and Anyway, I will need, a drunk song. Guess. Yeah, you got it, Ryan Fleming. Well done. It's Nadia Sawalha on the telly. She's going to be on the telly again tomorrow. Isn't that magic? Mooney tonight? No, Mooney. No, I don't do Moonies on a Sunday. It's the day of the Lord, you know what I'm saying? Don't flesh the flesh on a day of the Lord. It's a bad thing. Nah. Not Nobby's nuts, no. Maddie is not, yeah, and that's the point. Maddie, the younger elements of our family aren't happy. Maddie isn't, Izzy isn't, all of Maddie's friends aren't. I bet Nanny Di isn't.
What?
Happy.
Why?
Well, just because it doesn't, no one knows what the hell, nothing, has it changed? Has it not changed? How am I feeling with that proper coffee? like a deranged, boiled rabbit.
He's not dealing well.
I feel like a rabbit squished into a leotard and then forced to dance to aga goo goo goo. I feel like that. That's what I feel like. A bunny going. That's how I feel. Is there a live in the morning? Of course, there's always a live in the morning. We'll always do a live in the morning, even if we're not live. If you know what I mean. I've had enough. I've had enough. Have you? I've had enough. Boiled rabbit. Yeah, boiled rabbit.
What's a boiled rabbit?
I just feel like a boiled rabbit in a leotard. Without my coffee. I feel like my eyes are bulging. Guys, we tried to shave Toffee's hair off today. We had to use a muzzle. And I don't know if it worked. Oh, gonna hide. Just do that so you can't quite see. Cheeky little madam. So I'm gonna have to sit like that. Nat, what are you up? Oh my God! Oh my God! She just flashed her tits! How long have you been there?
That's to get you back. That's my TikTok towel challenge. I'm just hoping nobody caught me in the back window.
They look just like they did in...
Guys.
They look just like they did in Sweden back in 2001. Oh, they say they can all see you in the window.
They can't.
Where were you doing? Were you doing it over there?
No.
So you weren't getting lemonade? That was rubbish. Do you know what? Do you know what I'm most disappointed about? I wanted some lemonade. And I got her boobs instead. Oh, I'm in shock.
I'm just getting dressed.
You don't need to. You don't need to. Hey?
I can't come out naked, can I?
Oh, right, she can't come out. Are you going to stay naked?
No, I'm getting changed.
Oh, right, okay, I'm going to have to go because she's naked. All right, guys. Well, that was a happy ending. Oh, no, she isn't. Yeah, I thought you were naked.
Wait, I wasn't.
Oh, my God. Jesus, you got your clothes back on quick. On to a winner. Cover Chi-Chi's eyes. Oh, my God. Chi-Chi, random question. Please, can you ask Nadia if I could keep my open peanut butter in the cupboard? Can she keep her open
That
peanut?
was so funny, your
I was
face.
so
I don't know if I actually
shocked.
caught your full face, though.
You were so far
God,
away.
did you see that Mark did it to me on the TikTok towel challenge?
I've just tilted it up so they don't see Toffee. Jesus, I've broken out in a sweat. Is that why you turn the lights on? So I definitely see.
Yeah. So you see that on Loose Women tomorrow. You got to see it first.
I'm already having pleasant flashbacks. I am.
Right, we got to go. It's late.
All right, guys.
Bye, everybody.
Keep pumping your messages there because I'm sure I'm going to be just as ranty poos in the morning.
Bye.
Oh, no, we have got some espresso, haven't we? I think we have got espresso.